Welcome to Love Stories Classics. Today, we step into Jane Austen's elegant world, where irony, wit, and romance intertwine. Few tales are as enchanting as Pride and Prejudice. It is not only the story of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, but also a lively portrait of family, friendship, and society. Let us move slowly through its pages, feeling every spark of emotion, every hesitation, and every triumph of the heart. The Bennet household overflows with life, laughter, chatter, and sometimes true storms. Mr. Bennet, with his dry humour, watches his daughters, but prefers the quiet of his library to family chaos. Mrs. Bennet, on the other hand, lives for one purpose: to marry off her 5 daughters. And the daughters are all so different. Gentle Jane, witty Elizabeth, bookish Mary, playful Kitty, and reckless Lydia. Together, they create a home full of expectations, dreams, and worries. Elizabeth, our heroine, stands at the centre. She is intelligent, independent, and never afraid to speak her mind. Her closest bond is with Jane. Their tender sisterhood is built on trust and understanding. They share secrets and dreams, believing that love must be genuine. When word spreads that wealthy gentleman Mr. Bingley has taken residence at Netherfield, excitement sweeps the neighbourhood, and especially Mrs. Bennet, who fears for her daughter's futures and pins her hopes on Jane's marriage. Her hopes are not in vain. At the ball, the gentle Jane and the warm Bingley meet. His kind smiles mirror her sweetness, and a tender attachment blossoms instantly. Elizabeth rejoices in her sister's happiness. No one could be more sincerely glad for Jane than she. But beside Bingley stands Mr. Darcy, tall, reserved, and seemingly cold. When asked to dance with Elizabeth, he refuses. She's tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me. Elizabeth overhears. Outwardly, she laughs to preserve her dignity, but inwardly her pride is wounded. A spark is lit, one that will change the course of this story. Meanwhile, Jane and Bingley's affection deepens. Elizabeth is happy for her sister, but soon finds herself caught in a web of misunderstandings. She meets the handsome officer Mr. Wickham, whose charm stands in stark contrast to Darcy's coldness. And in her heart she cannot help comparing them. Wickham confides a story that Darcy wronged him cruelly, depriving him of the living promised by Darcy's father. Already stung by Darcy's insult, Elizabeth believes him readily. As so often happens, we embrace the stories that match our prejudices. Thus, her distrust of Darcy takes deeper root. Elizabeth's friendship with Charlotte Lucas is also tested. After Elizabeth rejects her ridiculous cousin, Mr. Collins, despite her mother's insistence, something unexpected occurs. Charlotte, practical and level-headed, accepts Collins's swift proposal. Elizabeth is stunned. How could her wise friend marry without love? And to such a fool. This choice highlights the sharp difference in their views. Charlotte seeks stability. Elizabeth insists on love alone. After Bingley suddenly departs Netherfield, Jane's heart is broken. The family wonders what has happened, and Jane quietly fades with grief. At the same time, despite his pride, Darcy feels more and more drawn to Elizabeth. Her lively eyes, her wit, her fire pull him in against his will. Their conversations are duels, each word sparking. Unable to resist, he acts. Then comes Darcy's first proposal. Pale but resolute, he confesses his love, yet his words drip with arrogance. He admits that he loves her, against reason, against his better judgment, despite her family connections. Every declaration carries both passion and disdain. Elizabeth's heart pounds, but not with joy. In a flash, she realizes who is to blame for Jane's sorrow. Her pride and anger flare. With burning cheeks and trembling voice, she rejects him, not only for his insulting manner, but for separating Jane and Bingley, and for his supposed injustice toward Wickham. Her words strike like blows. Silence falls heavy. Darcy's face shows pain and astonishment. Without another word, he leaves, broken. The next day, Elizabeth receives a letter. Darcy reveals the truth. Wickham is no victim, but a scoundrel who tried to seduce his young sister for her fortune. Darcy also explains his interference with Jane and Bingley. Because of Jane's reserve, he mistakenly thought her feelings were shallow. Elizabeth is shaken. Her certainty crumbles. Till this moment, I never knew myself, she thinks. Shame and regret fill her heart. Months later, Elizabeth visits Darcy's estate. She expects cold magnificence, but finds warmth and respect. His servants speak of him with affection. His sister adores him. Elizabeth is astonished. This is a different man, caring, generous, sincere. She realizes her prejudice is melting, and her heart fills with new feeling. Darcy, too, has changed. In his eyes there is humility, gentleness, and true devotion. His love has not faded, but matured, and here hope stirs in us for their happiness. Yet it is soon tested. Suddenly, dreadful news arrives. Lydia has eloped with Wickham. The family's reputation is ruined, for they are not married. Mrs. Bennett is crushed, knowing that no man will want her other daughters if one has fallen. Elizabeth is in despair. She is certain Darcy will turn away forever. But instead he acts differently. Silently, decisively, generously. He finds the couple, pays Wickham's debts, and saves the family's honour. No one knows he's their rescuer. When Elizabeth learns the truth, her heart overflows with gratitude and love. The man she once despised has become her family's saviour. At last, a new proposal. Now without pride, without condescension, only love and humility. Elizabeth accepts, her heart full of tenderness. Their journey, from disdain to trust, from pride to love, is complete. Alongside them, Jane also finds happiness with Bingley. Even amid family chaos, love triumphs. Their unions are not only victories of passion, but of maturity, mutual respect, and forgiveness. Why does this story never lose its magic? Elizabeth is not just a heroine, but a woman ahead of her time. She refuses to marry without love, remaining true to herself and her beliefs. Her courage and wit make her close to all of us. Darcy undergoes transformation. Pride makes him cold, but love reshapes him into a man humble and willing to sacrifice for others. His actions for Elizabeth's family prove his true devotion. The Bennett family is a mirror of society. Comic, anxious, alive. Mrs. Bennett's nerves, Lydia's recklessness, Mr. Bennett's sarcasm, all form the backdrop against which Elizabeth and Darcy's love shines brighter. Elizabeth's friendship with Charlotte Lucas adds poignancy. Charlotte chooses safety over passion. Against her choice, Elizabeth's decision to wait for true love feels daring and noble. Yet we also understand Charlotte, for women then had so few choices. The themes of the novel are timeless. Pride blinds, prejudice distorts, first impressions deceive. Yet love, grounded in honesty and growth, can heal and transform. This is the strength of the story, and of course, the romance itself. Not a sudden flame, but a slow, thorny road. Misunderstandings, revelations, gradual admiration. That is why this love feels authentic, hard-won, and triumphant. Pride and Prejudice is not merely a novel. It is a reminder that love is born not from perfection, but from the willingness to change and forgive. Elizabeth teaches us that dignity must never be surrendered, that laughter and sincerity are treasures. Darcy shows us that even the proudest heart can soften, and that true devotion is proven in deeds, not words. Their journey is a dance of two souls, first clashing, then circling closer, and finally uniting in harmony. Family and friends remind us that life will always be noisy and imperfect, yet full of warmth. And their love is the hope that lives in every romantic heart, that respect and tenderness can overcome pride and prejudice. Even after more than 200 years, their story still sings like an eternal melody. It calls us to believe in love that transforms, redeems, and makes us whole. And that is why Elizabeth and Darcy remain eternal companions to dreamers everywhere. If you felt the magic of this story, subscribe to our channel. Next time, we will step into the haunting yet hopeful world of Jane Eyre.